Welcome to Penny for Your Shots, Conversations and Cocktails with Brilliant Women, the podcast where we uncork the stories and insights of exceptional female leaders from all walks of life. Our goal is to serve up wisdom, tips, and inspiration, and to support each other in rediscovering ourselves and what sets our souls on fire. We'll also share personal memories, paired with friends and a favorite beverage. I'm your host, Penny Fitzgerald, and I believe that the best stories are served up over a glass of wine or a cocktail. So grab a glass, get comfy, and let's pour ourselves into Penny for Your Shots.
Tiffany Sommers is a professional organizer in Sarasota, Florida. In this episode, she shares many tips and tricks for better organizing your home and your life, and some interesting stories from her career. Throughout our conversation, I found myself reminiscing about the way I grew up and found our chat quite therapeutic. I ended up sharing quite a few personal recollections about my mom and dad. Tiffany showed a lot of grace in her suggestions and her reactions, and I'm sure she's patient and kind with her clients as well. Tiff and I had a brief conversation a few weeks ago, just after she had gotten back from Milan, Italy. I happened to be going there in just a couple of days. I'm still pinching myself about how this trip came up. More on that another day. As you're listening to this, I may be sipping an Aperol Spritz by Lake Como with some girlfriends. I can't wait to share at least some of those stories with you. Here is Tiffany Sommers. Hi.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank you. Thank you so much. Glad to be up and running and glad to see you and be part of this. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you.
Oh,
Yes, absolutely. So last time we chatted, you had just gotten back from Milan, right?
Yes. Yeah, we were in Italy for 2 weeks and we started Milan, into Milan, did Venice, Cortina, Trento, Stresa, all the beautiful lakes there. It was absolutely incredible. Got to go with my husband and my parents and my brother and his family, and it was absolutely wonderful. So yeah, once in a lifetime opportunity. It was amazing. You're gonna absolutely love it there.
I can't wait. I leave Wednesday morning, so
Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes. Oh, oh my gosh. It's a few days before like the trip is like exciting, but did I get everything? And
I
your
know.
list and
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm very, very excited for you.
Thank you. I can't wait. But to hear your excitement about it is just adding to it.
I tell you, the people, the culture, the buildings, the food, the wine, like there's not one bad thing. Honestly, like everything was just amazing.
That's
So
so
absolutely
cool.
amazing. Yeah. I'm excited for you and your friends to go and enjoy and just, live it up there. That'll be incredible.
Absolutely. To have the experience together and you with your family, that's really fun.
I think that's really like the most special thing is like enjoying it with the people you love. Because it's not just pictures when you get back or telling somebody something. It's like we're literally looking at this together. And it's just, there's those special memories that I'm going to hold dear to my heart. And, just glad my folks, like my dad's in his early 70s, my mom's in her late 60s. So they're still, up and at it very well. But, to give that or, do those kind of trips, it's a lot. A lot out of you. That's even me in my 40s. So I'm grateful that they were able to go and do it and just experience it. And so we could be with us to help them, with luggage and those things, they're not the best, tech stuff. So my husband's got his phone out. We're figuring out maps and all that. So it was neat. It
Cool.
was a really neat thing for them. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. For all
nice.
of us. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Well, tell us a little bit about you. Are
Yeah.
you from Florida originally? You're in Florida now.
Yeah. So I'm in Florida now. We've been in Florida for a little over 2 years. Originally from Colorado. I'm born and raised Colorado girl. And my husband's job took us to Austin, Texas for 6 years, which is where I started my organizing business. Prior to that, I was a special education teacher. So I was in the classroom. I was working with children. Absolutely loved it. Well, I started organizing on the side and really just found a love for it and just how much people need that help in their own lives. It's something that I feel kind of honestly, with lack of better words, like kind of God gave me this gift. Like he wants you to help people. He wants you to do this. So I branched out and started doing it, on the side, part-time, etc., organizing, and then decided after a year we were in Texas and I worked with behavioral kids versus special education, which is a little bit different. I decided to go and branch out and start my business, and I've now had it up and going for 8 years. Then I'm board certified. And people usually ask board certification. It's like, it's kind of just it's a class a week long, but it does give you a lot of tips and tools and tricks that people have been doing this, in the business for 40 something years now, which I didn't even realize that it's been, that long that it's been around. So, but it's been a great thing, just, helping people in their homes, having that certification, that experience, and then just teaching others. Because I think people think, oh, you go in and you just fix their life. Yes and no. I mean, it's a lot of hugs, it's a lot of tears in the end, it's a lot of life-changing things, but I think it's more changing routines, changing habits, really people looking at it of like, what do I really store and keep that I truly want? And I know for some people, getting rid of things is hard. Others are ready to go. And every client is looked at in a different light. Like, what are we looking to do? And it's really listening to what they don't say, listening between the lines of like, okay, you didn't say you needed this, but I know you do, or you have young children, or, and my seniors, like organizing for my seniors versus my younger couples, it's completely different. My seniors need everything out on the counter so they can see it. If it's visible, they'll remember to take their vitamins, their pills, do things, etc. Where my younger families, oh, let's just have a clean slate. I want nothing on my countertop. And it's like, all right, fair enough, and that's something, everybody's needs different. So I offer free consultations when I go into my clients' homes to really assess the situation, what they're looking to do, and just help them. So I guess, in long story short, to answer you, I'm Jeff. It's my husband and I and my dog, and we just love life and being outside as often as we can. And I love to help people. It's just really truly a drive and a focus in me to be able to help people live better life, not live in a home that they're constantly leaving. I think it's a lot of times I ask people, how often do you leave the house? All day, every day. We buy meals out, we're shopping, we're spending money, we're doing things that we don't necessarily need, but we're uncomfortable in our home. And it's like, we'll fix that. Let's have a home where you get home and you kick the shoes off and you're relaxed. You're not anxious about everything around you,
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about that. You do home organization. So how you've talked about some of your clients, some of, the seniors and younger people too, but so how does it work? Like you work with people who are in transition or just are not feeling comfortable in their homes, or?
Yeah, there's a lot of different circumstances. So for down here, you can imagine a lot of Northerners are moving down here. So it's the decluttering, the purging. I mean, so many people, and I come from up north too. So we're used to basements, we're used to attics, we're used to a lot of extra storage space and a lot bigger homes. So they move down here and it's like, okay, what can I bring? What should I bring? And I always tell people too, like if it's absolute heirlooms, antique, sentimental things, bring them with you. But I feel like everybody's style and taste change down here too. We're up north, it's a lot different, than it is down here. And I know people kind of want to change things up and it's a new chapter. A lot of people are retiring down here. A lot of people are coming down to work remotely. A lot of people are coming down to be with their family if they, are in communities here. So my clients really are all different times in their life, if that makes sense. Like I've got families that are downsizing here. I've got families that I moved here in town that are moving from their home that their children were raised in, and they're moving to a community, and downsizing. People that, are building here, and then, Lakewood Ranch and Parish areas are blowing up with people. And it's great because people from all over, they get here. Nobody wants to unpack. Nobody wants to organize. And as people know, like, there's, you get into the house and you've got all these boxes. And so you're just throwing stuff in drawers and closets just to get rid of the boxes. Feel like you've moved in. Well, then in that case, it happens that you can't find anything. You're buying extra things on top of it. Nothing's organized. It's just chaos, even though you took care of it quickly. And for a day or two, it may feel good. But yeah, that's a lot of what my team and I do too, is going in and unpacking for people, decluttering. And, it comes down to going through things with the client one thing at a time, especially my clients that are widowers. That's a whole nother thing. It's giving them that grace and their space to tell me their stories, tell me why this is important to them, and how do we make this functional and work for you every day. And, the little things like, I was telling somebody here recently, I had a client who had a receipt that was 4 years old. And I thought, why are you keeping it? Well, I asked her, I said, do you mind if I top this? And she got kind of emotional. And she said, that was the last meal I shared with my husband before he had passed. And was like, oh gosh. So to me, here's something that most people would assume, oh, it's junk. It's a receipt. Throw it away. Throw it in the, shred or recycle or whatever. To her, that was very significant for her. So that's another thing too. People, I think, feel as an organizer, I'm going to come in and just throw everything away. And it's not that. It's more so utilizing your spaces better. If product is needed to be able to utilize their spaces better. And if you want to keep everything, okay, awesome. But how do we do that? And then I have, on a whole nother spectrum, I have my hoarders, which they know when they get a hold of me is we're going to need to go in and first assessing the situation to make sure they're safe. Do you have water and electricity? First question that comes out of my mouth. And, I tell myself and my team, we're gloved up, masked up and booted up just to protect ourselves and our client. I let them know that and respectful. And I go, where some of them we're walking through where it's 4 to 5 feet of just stuff, And so that's a whole other thing, making sure they and their animals are safe, that they have a place to cook So usually when I work with my hoarders, it's a few years process because we go through and we assess the situation and see how safety is. Then we do, declutter as in, taking stuff out, trash things that are no longer usable. Maybe they've got mold on them. Maybe they no longer work. So making sure that they're safe and then just keeping what they truly want to keep. It's a hard process because although I psychology in college, not my major. And so kind of trying to delve in that and be as respectful as I can because majority of the time, my hoarders have had a big life-changing event for them. They've lost that job that was their everything in their retirement, or they lost their spouse and they lost a child. So holding on to things is almost holding on to that memory of that person and not letting go. So it's going into people's spaces and being super grateful. And then I have my clients on the other hand, when I walk in and their houses are perfectly in order and everything's beautiful and everything just it smells good. And it's when I'm like, what am I organizing? And we open up the closets and I'm like, oh, you're my closet lover. And like, you're having dinner and having people over, and then the next thing you know, we're 6 years deep in this closet. What's even in there? I don't know. And it's like, well, let's dig it out. We've usually got 6 irons and a couple ironing boards and crafts and things that, people had brought into the home and maybe left and meant to take or, and that's the funny thing too, is I love when clients are like, I don't know. It's
what do you think it is?
Well, it's like some things like we literally have to like Google because I'm like, I don't know what this is. Or like parts of things. I'm like, okay. So I try to too, like if there's little bits or pieces or parts, I try to keep them in a little small box as well as change. You wouldn't believe the amount of change I find organizing for people. It's so funny. I'm like, oh, here's all this. So yeah, just a little, cup of change and then a little of like, I call them random items because we all have things in our house that something pops off or breaks or is missing. And it's like, okay, I know what this goes to. And so you have that kind of little random pile, if you will.
Junk drawer.
Junk drawer. Exactly. Yeah. I call it the drawer of curiosities because you never know what you're going to find in it. It's like so random. It's like, okay, well, there's that. All right. We'll go on to the next thing. So really after these last 8 years, helping people in that way, I have organized and seen it all. And I tell people, do not be embarrassed. Like I don't even think second about it now. It's like I come into a space, my way that I always do things is I pull everything out. So whether it be a pantry, a closet, a garage, a shed, a lanai, kids' playrooms, kids' bedrooms, closet, doesn't matter. I pull everything out. I combine like items. And then my clients and I decide what we want to save, what needs to go to donations. A lot of times if there's kids, I'll figure out the size of clothing that they wear right off the bat. That way, when I'm going through kids' bedrooms, I know, okay, 3 teeth are out of them. They're wearing 17 now. And just going through that and knowing, and it helps, obviously, working with children prior to doing this because I guess I kind of get them in their space and their happy place and what they, what they strive for. I will tell parents, though, if they're going to clean out their kids' playroom, do not have them there. Like, respectfully, do not have them there.
Right.
They'll see something they haven't played with in, a year. And, that's my favorite thing in the world. It's broken or it's leaking or the batteries have eroded.
Oh, yeah.
One of those. So, but just everybody's uniquely different in their spaces. And I love to help them and I love to organize. And I want to leave people with a better feeling overall in their home, that energy, if you will, leaving them with, I can't do this now that we've hired Tiffany. And I hear this a lot too. Well, since we hired you, it's prompted me to do this space now. And it's like, that's great. Like, I'm glad to be a way to push people forward, but in a very respectful and, just a meaningful way. So,
yeah, that's such a service.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, like, I'm thinking about those hoarders, in specific, but in general too. I mean, I feel an attachment to some things. It has special meaning because it came from dad or mom or from our family history or whatever. But I also love the feeling of open spaces and feeling, like it's not cluttered. And I grew up, it was our home was cluttered growing up. And, I think, mom and dad grew up in the generation where you kept things and it was, through the Depression era and they, you might need to use that someday. So how do you work with people who have attachments and like that whole psychological and mental piece of it, especially with hoarders? I imagine it's quite difficult. And I would think that a hoarder would, if they don't fix what's internal, aren't they going to collect more things down the road and isn't going to get back to where it was?
And that's part of, when I said it takes like 1.5 years, 2 years, it's getting that therapy that they need, having somebody come in and assess the situation. And it's been so great. Like this, this area is so great with meeting people, networking, and finding people that, gosh, I need you to help one of my clients who's going through something devastating. And so it's great, our networking and our groups here, because it's like you meet these people that are able to help other people. And I feel like it's kind of like God's way of putting a little puzzle together, like, he's the organizer, but we need, I work with Junk Shot. They need to come in and haul everything away, or this client's moving. So I work with Sunshine Movers. They're going to come in and, move everything. It's all those parts and pieces, meeting with people and going back to the, the mental part of it and the psychological part of it. It is this holding on to things because we've been, coming from generations, and, that same age range of like our grandmothers, reused foil and reused bags.
Oh, yeah.
And, they did the cloth diapers and everything to not, make a mark on our world. And so things have changed a lot of people not wanting things. So it's an interesting balance, because you've got people wanting to keep their grandfather's china or grandmother's china or whomever's heirloom. Then you have our younger generations that are, I want nothing. I want no part of it. So it's really a delicate balance, because I'll have grandmothers who, I'm going to save this china for my granddaughter who's getting married next month. Well, she's in her 20s, and that age range, they want nothing.
It.
No, she doesn't want it. And there's such minimalist where these older generations aren't. Greg, in my home too, like a lot of, clutter, but things like, what if we need it kind of thing. So to kind of, engage with that of needing it, I tell clients, let it go. If you truly need it, you can buy it again. And then a lot of people are like, oh, but I spent the money. But it's like, well, yes, you spent the money in 82 and it was this much. Now in 2024, 42 years later, that stuff is just, it's not worth anything. So it's really being a very directive, but grateful way of telling people, like, it isn't worth anything, but, we can try to sell. And I at least tell people that, like, if you're at least wanting to, we can try it, but I'm letting you know, it probably won't, you'll end up in the end, giving it away, which I have a lot of people too, that at that point are ready to give it away because they just can't hold on to it anymore. But I think it's just, clutter and stuff are things we're not going to take with us. And reminding people of that in a, very respectful manner of, I know you love all this, but we're, you're moving into a community where you're going from 7,000 square feet down to 1,400 square feet. We can't keep every armchair. We can't keep every armoire. We can't, and it's like, just like figuring out with them what's really going to, spark them, what really means a lot to them. And then having the spatial setups too, which are huge. It's this magnetic board, and you can put all the things that they want to keep on it, so they can actually see how the room's going to be displayed. And I told my seniors, it's so cool, because it's like everybody needs a visual. Like, I'm a very visual person. I have to see it. Like, aesthetics for me is just huge, but to set this up in front of them and show them, okay, so this is how much room you have coming into your room. Oh, and it's like, yeah, for them to see that, then it's like, okay, maybe I need to keep back or scale back on a few pieces. And then I tell my clients too that are seniors, okay, with your walker or your wheelchair, we need that 3 feet, that 36 inches between stuff. Do you have it? And so that's a big thing to bring to them visually, because once they see that, it's like, okay, well, instead of that, I prefer to have this because it's my husband's, and I'd rather take that over these two things. So it is, it's giving them options and letting people know too that they do have options. I feel like sometimes people are like, oh, you're an organizer, you're going to make everybody throw everything away. It's like, no, I'm not. Like, that's
called a daughter.
Like, that's my mom and dad, exactly. That's their oldest, yes. So it's, it's unique in that way to go in and just say, like, what really sparks joy, kind of the Marie Kondo effect of it. And then really, what are you looking for? And then, like, I was talking about, yes, my seniors and downsizing, but I've got my younger families too, of like, how do we best set up a space? Like, making dinner at night is such a hassle for my kids, or getting out the door in the morning is just, I want to pull my hair out. And it's like, okay, well, let me come over and set up something for you that making dinner at night is actually not so much a chore anymore, but just a joy. Having your kids help you, setting things up in the kitchen where, little kids can reach things and, get to it and make sure that they're able to know safety in the kitchen, understand what they're doing to help a parent. And those things are super important. And then getting out the door in the morning, I tell everybody, if you have young children, even older high school kids, have a place where they set their shoes and they come home and they have their backpack. That way they are in the same spot. You know exactly where to go for lunch bags. You know exactly where to go for, papers. And I mean, I'm talking about little kids that forget the teacher sent home something, where the older kids, well, that may be intentional, that their teacher's getting in the backpack, yeah, a little bit. But it's, it's setting those things up and setting people up for success is why I do what I do. It's important to me to have things not only yes, aesthetically pleasing, but most importantly, functional. Again, it's listening to people and what they say in between the lines. Say, for example, if I'm doing a pantry and like breakfast stuff, okay, you're going to want to have little bins that are all labeled. And every time you buy groceries, flip in after you cut off the box that label's going to be, or do you just want a bin that says breakfast on it? And that's a big question to ask. And the home edit had taught me that. Like, that's another thing. Watching these shows, reading these books has just been invaluable to just be able to help one another and to go about it in another way. Because so many people look at the same thing and then have outside come in and look at it and they see it in a whole nother light where we get kind of stuck in that one thing. So reading about those things has been just hugely beneficial and watching them as well to know, okay, we have options. Do you want this? Or what's going to really at the end of the day be something that you're going to keep up with? Because obviously having these is an expense, but I want to be able to ensure that this, you keep up with it. And this is your new lifestyle. So
That's cool.
touch too. I mean, my family's young kids, you can imagine every 6 months I'm in there because, they've grown out of this or blah, 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 taking such and such's room because they're going off to college. And it's those constant shifts, in their lifestyle. So it's just keeping up with it and making sure that we're ahead of the problem before it becomes too much of a problem.
Right. Well, I think we get stuck in our own patterns, but then we also take from what we grew up with. We take those patterns of our parents and
we do
fall right back into, this is the way mom always did it. And I heard a story a while back about, I think it was cooking, a special dinner. I think it was Easter, but the family had 2 pans that they cooked the ham in. They cut the ham in half and put it in the 2 pans and put it in the oven. Like, well, why do you do that?
Yeah.
That's the way mom always did it. So they asked their mother, why do you do that? Well, that's the way my mother always did it. And then grandma was still alive. So they asked her, well, the ham wouldn't fit in the pan that I had.
No.
Yeah.
God.
And
How
it's just,
funny is that?
it's just the way that you get used to doing things, the way you were taught or the way you saw it happening. And
yes,
there's no really real reason behind it other than, initially it had a reason, but, today, no.
That's so funny because actually it was about a month ago I was making cupcakes and I was always taught by my grandmother, and I'm sure my great grandmother, that if one of the muffin tins doesn't have anything in it, fill it with water. I was taught that, and then you put it in the oven. And I'm thinking, okay, why? Well, my husband and I are talking about it, and he goes, well, let me look it up and see. With one of those wives' tales back in the day, telling people to do that to keep the pan even, which was the thing, but it really wasn't a thing. So it's so funny because here all these years I make cupcakes and you're lots of the batter and you maybe have some filling with water. Try not to spill the water into the batter, the whole thing. And then to come to find out, well, shoot, you didn't need to be doing that. It's amazing. It's so neat to hear that. I didn't have a pan that fits it. Like, what a funny story. And now with this, like, that's amazing.
And that's the way the family did it.
Exactly. And it is. That's those routines and showing kids in an early age how to clutter, how to purge things. I mean, it's going to be those lifelong lessons when they go off into the dorms. So they're not that, roommate that spreading into the other persons. And of course, they always, I feel like they do the real, very tidy people with the people that are just everywhere. And they're like, okay, let's put them together and see how this goes,
Yeah.
So,
you're learning a different life skill, and that might be patience.
Oh my gosh, 110%. That's a lot of it. It's patience. It's patience with people, giving them that space and grace. Understand the road. Okay, I don't know why you did that, but who never has that? Maybe you just lost a parent. Maybe something, just tragic happened in your life. So it's just, okay, I'm going to give you that space to do whatever. You're being crazy, but I'll just drive around you.
You'll come around. Yeah.
Yep, exactly. Yes, exactly.
Oh my gosh.
So, yeah, two people at a young age, but I love that those family, why we do what we do, because it's always been done that way.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So ask a better question, maybe.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah.
So interesting. So I bet you have a lot of interesting stories too from things that you've seen and heard.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Like, the craziest things I've seen have been in garages because things hide in garages. So you can imagine, like, so in Texas, it was the scorpions you had to worry about. So I learned to lift this way versus at me. A great friend of mine, we first moved down there when I was getting ready to do yard work. So when you go to lift rocks or anything ever that's sitting on the ground for a while, even your shoes, to shake your shoes out or lift things away from you. It was genius because how many times I'd be out there gardening, lift something and something together. I'm like, oh yeah, you run away from me, not towards me, So, I've seen, in garages, I mean, from snakes to scorpions to rodents, what I'll do in garages once I open up the door, usually the client opens up the door for me, brings out the, cars. I take over the whole garage and, driveway to organize things. Well, I'll go around and I'll kick things. Kind of the first few minutes I'm there and taking the floor pictures, just kind of startled to let you know, hey, I'm going to be getting in here. I had another case in a garage where I was putting something on the top shelf and something fell back on me while it was fertilized. And so there's kind of instances like, then I've got it all over my face and in my eyes. I'm in my, client kitchen and I'm trying to stuff. Just kind of odd things like that it's like, I wouldn't even have thought about something like that.
Right.
But, and then it's kind of humorous too, because I've got my little step stool, but I'm only 5'2". So it's like, also as a heavier set woman, getting stuff is very difficult at times. So it's really, you're stretching, you're getting up there, and then you're getting those kind of corners that things hide in. So that's kind of been my interesting in garages. When it comes to house inside, those junk drawers are usually the wildest things that I find. Because it's like, I had a kid put in like a fake snake, and like I went and I touched it, and it's like, you jump back, and then you look in again, it's like, okay, good. It's just rubber, Yeah, exactly. But random stuff in those. What still takes me by surprise to this day, teeth. That is one thing, like people saving their children's teeth, their little locks of hair. What gets me is wisdom teeth, because the roots on those suckers, oh my goodness, they're so thick, so bloody, and I'm just like, ew. But hey, people keep them for luck, so I put them back in the little box they're in, keep fake box. So that's where everything like that goes to, is the keep box. So
that's funny. It brought up a memory. I kept I was given mom and dad's boxes of things, not everything, because a lot of it got pitched. My brother went through everything. Because he was retired, so he had the job of going through everything, and the oldest of the family. So I got a lot of things that were boxed up by mom, and some of her stuff, and I finally had the guts to go through it.
Not
a
little bit. It does take that, because it's your family history and it's your mama's, and especially when parents are gone, it's emotional and it takes time, and it's not going to be done in a day, and people need to give themselves that space and grace to take their time with it. So,
I had it in my closet, the closet I don't use very much. Kids are grown and they're out of the house, so it's just a closet now. Nobody's stuff is in there. So I was going through it to kind of sort through it and see what to keep and what not to. And I found her teeth.
Oh, yeah.
Why did you? Please. Oh,
why? Yeah, why? I think it's that generation, and I don't know if they think it's going to be used for something later on, or the fact that I think it's more the mentality that's mine. Like, I want to keep a hold of that because that's mine. And I've had a lot of clients like that. Like, why? Well, because it's mine. And it's like, I get that, but I also tell people too, one man's trash is another man's treasure. Like things that you have in your home and multiples of, a family may be praying for right now. And that's just part of what I do, is giving back to our community, working with different organizations here of taking these things. And my poor husband, stuff's always strewn across our garage. It's like, we got the kids, pile of kids' books and clothes, and then the ladies' attire, and then the men's stuff. And it's like, what is all this chaos? But it's like bringing things from multiple, projects home, and then going through them and sorting them to get back to the community. And I always have people ask, do you keep stuff? Very rarely do I, because if I did, my house would be inundated like my client. It'd be so many different people's, taste and style and choices and family heirlooms. And it's just stuff that I know that I can give back to the community, and it's going to make a big, big difference. I personally don't have children, but I know that those kids, they grow through things so quickly. It's important to have clothes on their back and shoes that fit, and little lunch boxes and backpacks. So, just giving back to our community is a big part of what I do. But for you to go through your mama's stuff is really brave, and I'm proud of you for doing it. So
thank you.
Yeah, it's a big deal.
It is a big deal. Yeah, and your mom and dad's stuff both. It's just stuff meant something to them.
Yeah,
and so that's really hard to get rid of. And okay, so a thing that has been going through my mind as we're talking here a little bit. My dad's parents were on separate boats, but came over from Germany separately, but ended up in the same area here, and were introduced to each other, married here in it was 1892, I want to say. I think it was 92. Yeah, and their china, all of the kids, all of Dad's siblings got a cup and saucer.
Oh, wow.
At some point. And this is way before I didn't know them at all. They were gone before I was around. So, Aunt Elvina never had children, and nobody wanted her teacup. So I have Dad's and Aunt Elvina's teacups with the saucers. Well, two, and they're beautiful, and they're like really fine china. I'm afraid to use them.
Yeah, I know. Agreed. Yeah, I hear that too. And that's a lot of people, I'm afraid to use it, or what if I break it? And it's like, I think I would hope that our great-grandparents and great-great-grandparents would look at that as, I'm glad you're bringing it out for me. Something breaks. Like I'm looking at that point and whatever, next plane they're on and, looking down at us from heaven. I hope that they, are just grateful that we're using it. If something breaks, it does. But I feel the same way. And it's also that mentality I tell people too, that buy the fancy perfumes and colognes and don't use them, or have these fancy things. And it's like, bring it out.
That's my mother right there.
See? And we get in a habit like, I spent a lot of money on this, so it's only for special occasions. So it's like, start using it every day. Life is a special occasion.
Exactly.
And getting up every day and having that heartbeat and that breath is a purpose. We're here for a reason. Cologne on, perfume on, smell good for somebody, smell good for yourself.
Exactly.
But we do, because we get that mindset of the cost of it, and we were taught like you use sparingly and fancy. And I tell clients like, well, here's that now been sitting here for a year and a half, and it's now not smelling like it once did. Go ahead and use it. So talking people into that is kind of it's a difficult thing, but I know too that they're open for it. Like, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I will use this. It's like, put that nice pair of heels on. So like, but yeah, why not? Like, make yourself feel good. But you're, circling back to yours, like breaking things. That's it is this fear by people, but I think at the same time, the fact that you used it, it'll just, it'll just remind you of that. So.
Right. Well, and that's what I need to do is have them out and have some tea in there and remember Dad's family and Aunt Elvina and
absolutely. Yeah, have a cup of tea in them. Also, repurposing too. A lot of people I've seen where they take a bar outside and they take the saucer, they glue the teacup to it. Now, mind you, this would be permanent, but they put bird seed in it and then they put them out in their yard. The birds come and eat out of them. People, I think that's the thought. Keep the things, but maybe repurpose them. I had a client and she was a crafter. She was great at art, but she had taken all the old silver from her grandmother. She punched them down, made them flat, and then she made wind chimes out of them for the family. So here's something that's so cool, that's a family heirloom, but nobody's really using, silver anymore. Using silver. So she made wind chimes out of them. And I thought, well, that's genius, because then there's something that somebody can keep as a family and you actually use and have. Cool. So I don't know what our family be saying up there, like, why are you flattening it? But maybe they be
you're still using it.
You're still using it. Yeah, it's still got a purpose. So.
I have all of Mom and Dad's old spoons too. I don't know who got the forks and knives.
You just having to get all the spoons.
I just have all the spoons. But I use them as my tasting spoons in my kitchen.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, so I'm using them every day.
Yeah, that's perfect. You're using them then. That's the important thing. Is just use them and finding a purpose for them.
Yeah.
So, like old newspapers and stuff too. I tell people, and like especially papers, like that kind of stuff is kindling. Like I tell clients when we've got floor to ceiling newspapers, just don't light a match. Like this is a very dangerous situation. I guess the question is why keep it? But reminding people, too, especially paper, all yearbooks are online now. Every class, every grade, anywhere. So telling people too that there's resources of if you happen to need to look somebody up from your class or can't find them on social media, go to the internet. They've got all the yearbooks, newspapers, magazine articles, things, etc. Everything at your fingertips, and then you can print it up if you need it again.
That's very cool.
Yeah, so just trying to teach people in a different way at how to flip things.
Mom was our church organist for over 50 years. I'm not sure how many years, but over 50 for sure. And she played for every funeral, every wedding, every life event in that church. And when she passed away, we found every obituary, every funeral card in her things.
For lack of words. Oh,
yeah. She couldn't throw them away, I think, because that was somebody's life she was honoring, just throw it away would be, exactly.
Yeah. I completely understand. That's so kind of her, because she was giving her to them and their family as a remembrance for their lost loved ones.
Yeah.
So to hold on, that was a way to remember. Oh, she sounds like a really special lady.
She was, but
how long has she been gone?
She died in 2013 and dad in
Okay.
19, but they were both like mom was 91 and dad was almost 103. So,
Okay. Some good genes then.
well,
You're around for a long, long time and you dip in that water, so you're on it, and you got it.
well, my husband says, yeah, you have good genes, but that's unproven with alcohol. So,
Well, yeah, that's true.
yeah, I don't know. I might be pickled.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fine.
Yeah. I'll be sliding in, having a real, having
See-
as much as I could.
I'm
So,
having a lot of fun, so it's all
Yeah.
good.
that's good. That's good. Living life and getting ready for your big trip on Wednesday, which is
Yeah.
excited for you. So
Yes.
excited. So
Thank you.
yeah,
you.
yeah. It's gonna be just an amazing opportunity. So
I think, yeah, I can't wait to share the experience with my girlfriends. It's going to be super fun. And
it is. It's gonna be really special for you guys. It's
Yeah.
those moments. So wear that perfume. Tell your friends to bring those dresses, bring those things that they would have, but maybe not wear, maybe not think about bringing in case they lost it. Tell them to
good
bring
thought.
it. Yeah, yeah.
Right.
Just live it. Live it exactly. Yeah.
Gosh.
Oh.
Okay. Well, Tiffany, one of the things that I always ask people on my show is, what's your favorite cocktail?
Oh my God. I'm a wine
wine.
girl.
Oh,
We're right-
cool. What's your
It's kind of
favorite?
funny when you're talking about your friend's winery out there in the event. So my husband and I lived in Austin, and we would go out to oh my gosh, why is the name escaping me right now? Little German town. We'd go out there, and they'd have all these wineries that we would go to.
Near Austin.
Yeah, it's near Austin. It's probably about an hour and a half west of Austin.
Not
And-
Fredericksburg, is it?
yes, it is Fredericksburg.
Oh,
Yes.
gosh.
Yes, and so I love going out there. Fredericksburg is just such a beautiful little, Germany town. All the
Mhm.
wineries around there. We do the wine tours. We'd go out with friends. My husband and I would go and do nights away. It's just, yeah. So to answer your question, what is my favorite cocktail? I'm a wine girl. I love my wine. Don't get me wrong. I love my mules and,
Yeah.
it's a good old fashioned. We had
Mhm.
some blackberry whiskey this weekend with some ginger ale. Wow. It was
Whoa, that sounds
refreshing, but
good.
it could be
Yeah.
good.
Trouble?
Yeah, exactly. Yes, exactly. So,
Good trouble.
but, yeah, exactly. But I love wine. I love the history of them making it. Obviously, enjoyed it thoroughly in Italy. I used to just be a white girl, met my husband's family, and they just opened my mind to what you pair it with and what you think of it
Exactly.
and how different it is. And it's just an extraordinary thing that's different each and every time you pop a cork. And I don't know, I just like sitting around and, visiting with people and giggling and just telling stories and just
Yeah.
enjoying, drinks together, toasting. Toasting's a big thing for me. What I
Mhm.
called as a kid dinking, you think your glasses. And so now it's like dink, but just, celebrating those things, celebrating our everyday in life. So yeah, that's my favorite cocktail would be wine. I'm a wine girl. How
I
about
love it.
yourself?
Oh gosh, it depends on the day for me.
Yeah,
and I
there you
do
go.
love wine. I've studied wine and helped other people have more fun with it, which is super.
With my arm, okay.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right. Yeah, so yeah, it depends on the day. Summertime when it's really hot, I like a crisp, refreshing white.
White
I like a good Vino Verde or a Prosecco.
Yeah.
Dry Riesling, I like that a lot too, or Sauvignon Blanc. But for reds, yeah, I love Italian reds, Sangiovese, Dolcetto, something
Yeah.
something a little bit acidic, but makes your mouth watering is a better way
Yeah.
to say it.
Yep, that's a great way to put it. And I was going to tell you, in Italy, you'll have the Prosecco, phenomenal.
Mhm,
They do
mhm.
limoncellos there. Oh my goodness.
Yes.
And Bellinis. Oh, their Bellinis are made with Prosecco and then a peach like puree. Oh, girl, I'm telling you, so
Oh.
good. And they're just so they're cool and crisp and refreshing and it's
Yeah.
cooling you down, but just kind of that, relaxation. They're really good. So you're going to love the drinks there. Oh, you're going to have such a good
can't
time.
wait.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah. So, and I love you saying it depends on the day. How is the heat outside? Is it cold? Is it hot? What are we going to be
Right.
drinking? Yeah.
What am I
Yeah, I
eating
love
with it? Who am I with?
that too. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The pairing, which is such a beautiful thing.
Yep. That's funny because we were talking about collaborations earlier. I think in any industry and even with food and wine, it's collaborations. What goes
It
together and
is.
what supports
Absolutely.
just supports each other and
Absolutely. Yeah. When they do the charcuterie, which I think that's just the
Oh.
charcuterie board is amazing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
they pair so many different things. And I'm like, who would have thought that these are good with red wine or these are so
Uh-huh.
flavorful with white wine? So yeah, it's just a
Completely.
neat thing.
It completely elevates the experience on both sides, the wine and the food.
Yes, it does. Exactly. So yeah, everybody's coming up with this stuff. Keep punching it out. We're happy to consume as much as we can.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, have you ever had anyone, or have you ever tried a green grape with white wine?
Somebody had frozen the green grapes one time and put them in as kind of ice in the white wine.
Oh, really?
Were phenomenal.
Really?
Phenomenal. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I would suggest doing red grapes
Okay.
and freezing those, or strawberries or blueberries or whatever.
Okay.
But if you have just a regular, like, room temperature or slightly chilled green grape with a white wine, they fight. It's a horrible, it's one of the ways that I would illustrate for people, the difference between a really good food pairing and a really bad food pairing. So if you have green grapes with white wine, they fight. And you would think that they'd go together because it's made from grapes, and wine would, you would think. Most charcuterie boards, or a lot of them, have a cluster of grapes on them because it's really pretty.
Yes.
But
not
green,
maybe the best taste. Interesting. Yeah, because they were frozen, the ones I had, but now thinking about it,
yeah.
I guess I was just enjoying it. It's fine.
Well, and a lot of
going down.
Exactly. A lot of times the experience around you can really make up for
bad
things.
Some of the cheeses out there that are like, okay, yes, smile on your face and have another crack.
Yeah. Well, I've had people ask me, like, why did this wine taste so much better when I was on vacation? I'm like, because you're on vacation.
Yes, exactly. Your mindset's different than popping a bottle either after work or on a Saturday afternoon versus when you're on vacation. Because vacation mode, you're in totally different mindset.
Everything is beautiful with rose-colored glasses.
Yes, exactly. That thing may annoy you back at home. You're loving it here. Kind of.
Hopefully, that's the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh gosh. Well, Tiffany, what have I not asked you that you would love to share with people?
Oh man. Gosh, she does such a good job, and I know I'm a talker, so I appreciate you letting me.
It's fun, and I love to hear your stories.
Oh, well, I appreciate it immensely, and I appreciate your time. I think really at the end of the day, just what I do is just to give back and to help others, and I think I will just continue leading in that way of making sure people are taken care of, going above and beyond clients. Weird requests, I'm happy to do them. I mean, I had a client here recently that was moving, and the movers were coming, and then we were coming the next day to unpack and, set everything up for them. Well, because they don't take food products. And I'm like, what do you mean? It's stuff for my fridge and freezer. And so we're kind of like, oh my gosh, what do we do? Well, what I did is we have 2 fridge and freezers in our house, one in the garage side. I cleared it out. Thankfully, we hadn't done just like a Sam's or Costco run, so we didn't have a lot, but we cleared it out. I brought the client stuff over and put it in my fridge. So what I'm saying by that is if there's something that happens in those moves or in the organizing process that can help another, I'm going to do it. Even if it's a random task, something super strange, like I'm going to handle it for them, because in that moment, there's so much going on, and it's so much emotional and, emotional and mental being the same, but a little bit different as well, because you've got some stuff in the forefront of your mind of what you need to do. And then that stuff in the back telling you, oh, this and that, and feelings, and how do you conquer this, etc. So just, I think telling my clients I go above and beyond, even those odd requests, don't ever feel embarrassed in front of me. It's nothing I ever want to ever judge anybody on. Everybody's got things in their homes that they keep, collect, etc. Paintwork. I mean, yes, I have my eyes on it, but my eyes aren't on it. It's more just, okay, what is this going with? And giving people that respect in their space, because I've seen and done it all. And I think that's really, at the end of the day, helping people, giving back to our community, using those donations, which are some people's cash, and just giving them back to people that need them. And we have a lot of people in need here. So I think just helping people out in that way. And I think at the end of the day, I just, like I said, I love what I do. And I appreciate people like you, and just, growing and the networking. I think that's the biggest thing about here in Sarasota. When I was in Texas, I did no networking. It was all referral, which was wonderful. But I think I almost took it for granted, because I moved down here and it's like, I know no one. You were starting out fresh. You've had your business for 2 years. You want to keep this going. How do you continue doing that? And I had a friend here tell me about networking, and it opened up my world, because it's not just like selling yourself in your business. It's really not that. It's getting to know people, how their lives are, what their children do, what they do for a living, how their spouses and partners are. What do they like to do for fun? I love all the people that play pickleball here. I think it's amazing. It's like, this is a pickleball mate.
Oh my
And
gosh.
it's so incredible because like my mother-in-law was playing 10 years ago, if not longer, back in Colorado. And it wasn't a big thing there then. And so here it's like, oh, it's just, that's everywhere. But it's just, I think, getting to know people and what they like to do, what drives them. I love it. I love to just get to know people. So it's just a beautiful thing for me. I'm so grateful to be here. I'm very, gracious and grateful that we end up here in Sarasota and just amazing, extraordinary people I run across. Also, too, I'm grateful for the connections I've made that are also organizers here because we, send clients back and forth to one another. Maybe it's a big thing because people are like, oh, it's your competition. It's not. We all do it in such a different way. We all go about it in such a different way and people's needs are different. So it's like having a different doctor for things or having a favorite, restaurant. Everybody does it in a different way. So you really find your niche. And I mean, with these, people that I work with here, it's great to send clients back and forth to one another. Maybe my load's too full with my, team that we can't get it, or this person needs help right away and we're already booked. Sending those over to other companies here has just been huge for me. And I respect and appreciate them sending them back to me and showing that I'm there to help. I want to be the organizer that helps everybody. So that really, at the end of the day, I just want to be, I can do it all. And that's truly what I want to be there.
Yeah, relationships and keeping an eye out for opportunities to serve and those kinds of things I think are so important too in any industry.
Absolutely.
But what's the name of your business, Tiffany? Tell us again what it's called.
Yeah, it's Let's Organize, and it's a capital T in Let's, and that's for Tiffany. So I just wanted to keep it personal when I first come up with the same. So yeah, Let's Organize. I'm on Instagram and Facebook, and then I can obviously have my website, which is let'sorganize.biz. And just here to help anybody. I said, I do free consultations. So if people are, a little nervous or hesitant about reaching out to me, I tell them, go ahead and give me a call. Or people that are needing ideas for product or maybe aren't able to bring me in, maybe it's financially, maybe it's distance, which I will tell people I do travel. I've been up to different states for clients that bring me up and, need my help organizing. So I do travel too if people, have the means to bring me on. But if they don't, I'm just happy to answer questions. I have friends and family reach out all the time. What do we use here? And I tell people too with products, don't go and buy the most expensive things. Like, it's sure they're great, but there's a lot of expensive things that don't hold up over time. And after the last 8 years, I know A, what doesn't break the bank, and B, what's going to hold up over time. And that's super, super important for my clients and for myself. That way I don't, get any bad feedback of, oh, well, this is great. It broke down on me. I don't want to hear that. I want to hear that it lasted for you. So social media, to answer your question, long story short, got my website out there, my social media. Reach out to me anytime. I'd love to answer any questions anyone has.
Awesome. Well, I will share those links in my show notes for you too.
Oh, perfect. That's great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, absolutely. That. Yeah, people can find you a little bit easier with that, and I'll put those on social media too. But
awesome.
So what? You've shared a lot of tips already, but do you have like one universal tip that would be something you could share with people that would help everyone out there?
Yeah, I would say if you go to do a project, and I know oftentimes I get a call and it's people that are in the middle of it anywhere. If you are debating on doing it, if you want to do it yourself, which I love that people are willing to tackle it, I tell people, start in one area. Don't do multiple areas at once because it's going to become overwhelming. You're going to give up immediately. It's like starting a new diet and from the get-go, not doing this, or this, then working out every day and pushing yourself so hard. I know I fail with those. Like, it's got to be a gradual start. And so I tell people, start with one area, start small. Just start in a drugstore. Just pull things out, set it out on your countertop with any space that you decide to do. Pull everything out, have that space clean, wipe it down. That just, I think, mentally prepares you to, okay, we now have a fresh space. What are we going to put back in the fresh space? And even just taking a quick, if you use these or a bleach wipe or just a water and a little bit of wet paper towel and just, wiping down something, it starts that initial focus of like, okay, we're cleaning the space. What do we want to be in this space? And I just tell everybody, bring everything out and group together like items. That way you can see, pick up multiple of this, or, oh, I forgot, I like this one better than this one I replaced it with. And then, as my motto says, everything has a place. So when you go to set stuff up, make sure things are in the same spot every time. Teaching your children this, teaching spouses, your partners, wherever they may go into the house and know, like, okay, there's always cups here. This is always where measuring cups are. trying to set those systems up and put them into place. So my biggest recommendation to be anybody just looking to organize by themselves or start it out, pull everything out and do one place at a time. Wipe that, space down. Like say if you want to do a closet, pull everything out, clean the floors, clean the top shelf or however many shelves are in there. That really sets the precedent for this is what we're going to put in it.
The tone.
Yes, tone. Absolutely beautifully put. Thank you. That word to listen for there, Tiffany. You're amazing. Thank you. But yeah, setting the tone for it of like, okay, this is a clean space that we have this much room. What do we really need to get to on a regular basis, and what can be kept in the back? And I always tell people too, especially with like closets, like you're talking about, now that the kids are gone and there's nothing of theirs in there, like what do you store? Like I tell people, keep holiday stuff in the back because you're not going to be getting into it every month. But like things that you're going to use more often, keep in the front. When you be hanging jackets in there, or the iron in the ironing board, or things that you maybe not wear often but want to keep in there, rain boots, ponchos, that keep it more accessible, but keep the other things in the back that you're not going to get to as often.
Great advice.
Well, thank you. I'm trying.
Yeah, that's wonderful. Yeah, because the idea of cleaning out that one space, and then what is important enough to keep to put back in that clean space, so that
and it's a daunting task. I tell people to keep a heat pile, a giveaway pile, and a maybe pile, and have them out there, because sometimes the giveaways may be different from the keepers, and then you'll notice like, oh, okay, you know what? I want to keep this one, but I want to give this one away. And then the maybes too. I always tell people keep a maybe pile. About 80% of the time, that maybe pile, they're donated as well or sold. Because it's just like, okay, I can't decide at the end. Then it's like, well, do you really need this, etc. But it gives people that space to kind of look over their own things and realize, shoot, I've got these in this closet and in my closet. My kids have stuff stored in their closet. And then it's like, okay, well, now we've got 3 or 4 different spaces that are holding the same item. So I tell people, yes, it's a daunting task, but go slow. Remember that you've got help, you have resources, and you just take it one bite at a time. It's like eating an elephant. It's not going to happen in a day. It's just one bite at a time. And eventually it'll be, gosh, this is easy. And then you'll kind of get a routine and habit. And then it's like, okay, now when stuff comes in your home, especially people with small children, and they get those bags of just, just, and I hate to say it, but it's like, it's toys that they're not going to ever use, candy they may not need, gum that they may not be, needing to chew, etc. The minute they walk in the house, they're left in the car. I tell parents, and I know some, they're like, oh, but what? And it's like, they'll never notice. Like they see that children, more than 7 to 8 toys, are overwhelmed. And you look at these kids' playrooms, and it's like, shoot, there's 7 or 8 things in the corner alone. So, if people are going to take on that daunting task, I tell them to take it one bite at a time, one thing at a time, and just really assess the situation, bring everything out. But my best place to start is the junk drawer. Then just start there, pull everything out, and see, okay, odds and ends, tools, receipts, random, always the sunglass holders, those little thin ones, like 10 million flosses from the dentist, like everything just gets shoved in, drawer closed. Hey, the house is good, So yeah.
This screw that came out of something, I don't know.
Is that where you keep the things I was talking about? Those screws, those little broken parts. We had a spring here recently, and I'm like, what the heck does it go to? Yeah. I'm going to go to something with our air conditioning. And I thought, well, who would have thought?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, those are the things that make you go, oh, thank God I didn't throw it away. But
exactly. Yes, exactly. But then I'm like, oh, but wait, it's just thing. So,
exactly.
It's a balance. So,
it's a good way to look at it.
Yep, exactly. So,
gosh. Well, thank you so much for all the tips and the stories. It was just wonderful chatting with you.
Thank you so much for your time. It was an absolute pleasure speaking with you. You're lovely. I cannot wait to hear about your trip when you get back. And just really appreciate it. I'm so glad that we met through Sassy Sisters, and I'm grateful to be part of that. And everybody speaks so highly of you. So I'm very, very grateful for your time today. Thank you.
Oh, you too. You too. And I can't wait to spend more time together in person this fall.
Yes, that'll be wonderful. Yes, we'll be glad to have you back.
We'll share some wine.
Quit smile. I'm like,
okay.
Yeah, all right. I'll bring screen great. Just kidding. I'll bring a good charcuterie
just to try.
Yeah, exactly. Well, thank you so much again. You have a wonderful afternoon and have a great time on your trip.
Oh, thank you so much. And now I'll talk with you soon.
Okay, sounds good. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye.
Stephanie.
Bye. That's a wrap on another spirited episode of Penny for Your Shots, Conversations and Cocktails with Brilliant Women. I hope you've enjoyed the intoxicating blend of wisdom, wit, and wonder that these incredible women bring to the table. Check out the show notes for links to resources referenced in today's episode. And remember to subscribe and raise a glass with me every Thirsty Thursday as we continue to serve up inspiration, celebrate resilience, and reignite the passions that set our souls on fire. If you've loved what you've heard, please share the podcast far and wide and leave a sparkling 5-star review to let me know your thoughts. It would also help tremendously if you would visit pennyforyourshots.com and subscribe to learn when new episodes are available and pick up my free recipe. In the meantime, remember that your story deserves to be served and savored. Cheers to your brilliance and of women everywhere. Until next time, keep sipping and experiencing life's extraordinary moments. This is Penny for Your Shots, signing off with a clink and a toast to us. Cheers.